Why does ice float? ELI5 ice floats because it's less dense or less crowded than water. Let's break it down. When water is in its liquid form, its molecules move around freely and are packed fairly close together. This close packing makes liquid water denser than ice. When water freezes, its molecules arrange themselves into a crystalline structure, which is more open and takes up more space. This structure makes ice less dense than liquid water, allowing it to float. So ice floats on water because it is less dense. But when water freezes and turns into ice, the molecules arrange themselves into a special structure, like a crystal, with lots of empty space in between. This makes ice take up more space than the same amount of liquid water. Since the molecules are more spread out, ice is lighter, less dense, compared to liquid water, so it floats. Why does density matter? Density is how much stuff is packed into a certain amount of space. If something is less dense than water, it will float. If it's more dense, it will sink. Ice is less dense than water because its molecules are more spread out when frozen, which is why it stays on top. Why is ice less dense than water? This happens because of the way water molecules behave when they freeze. Water molecules are shaped a bit like a V and have a positive and a negative side, almost like magnets. When water gets really cold, the molecules slow down and stick together in a way that creates a rigid, open structure with gaps in it. These gaps make ice take up more room than the liquid water it came from, making it less dense. A cool fact about ice floating: when water freezes into ice, it expands by about 9%. That's why ice cubes float to the top of your drink. And why bottles filled with water can burst in the freezer. The ice needs more space. Why is it important that ice floats? Ice floating is super important for life on Earth. If ice sank instead of floating, lakes and oceans would freeze from the bottom up, killing fish and other creatures that live in the water. Floating ice on the surface acts like a blanket, keeping the water underneath warmer and protecting life during cold winters. So, ice floats because it's less dense than water, thanks to the special way its molecules spread out when it freezes. It's a simple idea with a big impact on life as we know it.